You made a comparison with you and Nas, man. Everybody been talking about it. Now, why out of everybody you pick Nas, bro?
I didn't do it.
They asked him.
No,
they asked him a question.
New song?
No.
You don't like Ace Trumpets?
What's so great about it?
It's so good.
You're not in my top 50. You might be in Charlemagne's top 50 and things like that,
What's the
but
top 50?
you haven't done that much for me in my life. Like I never want to be like Pusha. I never had a Pusha moment.
Viral on the Spotify Rap Caviar podcast.
Yes.
About
Man,
Pusha T.
People don't like people. Yeah, see, there we go. And then look what happens. But I'm ready for all things, man. Shouts to Pusha, shouts to that guy, shouts to the clips. You know what I mean? Congratulations.
Do you like the new song?
No, but you know.
You don't like Ace Trumpets?
What's so great about it?
It's so good.
It's good.
It's so, oh man.
It's good.
So yeah, there's something going on that you ain't telling us about,
it's
bro.
It's good in what? A nostalgic value of it.
You don't think Ace Trumpets is hard?
I don't believe them.
Oh.
But that's a whole nother story. I don't want to downplay nobody's craft.
You run from the spirit of repossession. Too much enamel covers your necklace. I buy bitches, you buy them sections. You buy watches, I buy collections. Misery's fueling your aggression. Jealousy's turned into obsession. Reality TV is mud wrestling. Some sign checks I know better than.
Jim Jones just went too far, and now fans are not holding back. After coming for Nas and Pusha T, the fallout has been swift, brutal, and completely public. Social media is buzzing, and fans are turning on him like never before. What started as a confident call-out quickly spiraled into a situation no one expected. From viral reactions to heated debates, this is one moment in hip-hop that everyone is talking about. And the drama is far from over in this video. We're breaking down everything. Jim Jones comments, the responses from Nas and Pusha T, and the reactions from fans across platforms. Some are calling it disrespectful, others are shocked at the audacity of challenging legends in the rap game. The backlash has been relentless, leaving Jim Jones facing criticism he didn't anticipate. We'll explore the clips, the social media posts, and the fan commentary that's making this situation explode. This isn't just about ego or competitive bars. This is about reputation, respect, and the consequences of stepping into the spotlight with bold claims. By the end of this video, you'll see why this controversy has taken over timelines, why fans are reacting so passionately, and why Jim Jones might have underestimated the backlash. Stick around as we break it all down in detail, from the initial call-out to the full fan reaction, and uncover what this could mean for his career moving forward. The moment Jim Jones decided to publicly call out Nas and Pusha T, he knew he was taking a huge risk, but even he couldn't have predicted how fast things would spin out of control. What started as confidence and bravado quickly turned into an avalanche of backlash from fans, fellow artists, and social media users alike. Within minutes, clips of his comments were shared across platforms, dissected and debated endlessly. Every word, every gesture, every implication became fodder for viral discussion. It was a situation that demanded attention, and the consequences were immediate. Fans, who normally respected Jim Jones for his contributions to hip-hop, were blindsided. Many felt he had crossed a line by disrespecting legends like Nas and Pusha T. They flooded Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok with reactions ranging from shock to outrage. Who does he think he is? One fan posted, Nas and Pusha have earned respect that lasts decades. This isn't a game, another commented. The sheer volume of responses was overwhelming, turning what could have been a simple call-out into a full-blown social media storm. Jim Jones' words, which he had expected to assert dominance, instead became the source of ridicule and criticism. In the days leading up to the controversy, Jim had been feeling confident. He believed he had valid points, clever lines, and a platform that would allow him to speak his truth without consequence. But hip-hop is a culture built on respect, history, and context. And his audience wasn't about to let him rewrite the rules. His approach, which may have seemed bold to him, was interpreted as disrespectful and tone-deaf. Fans immediately began comparing his comments to past incidents in hip-hop, where lesser-known artists had challenged legends and faced severe backlash. It was clear that Jim had underestimated the weight of his words and the scrutiny he would face. The reactions weren't limited to fans. Fellow artists, some who had previously worked with Jim Jones and others who were merely observers, began chiming in. Some offered subtle criticisms, warning him about the repercussions of calling out legends publicly. Others directly criticized him, emphasizing that respect is earned, not assumed. Even commentators on music forums and YouTube channels dissected his words line by line, providing their own analysis and sparking further debate. The ripple effect was massive. And Jim Jones' confidence began to falter as he realized the scale of the storm he had unleashed. Meanwhile, Nas and Pusha T, two of the most respected figures in hip-hop, initially chose to stay quiet. They understood the dynamics of the culture and the power of public perception. Silence, in this case, spoke volumes. Fans immediately picked up on their reactions, or lack thereof, interpreting it as calm, calculated, and strategic. While Jim Jones had attempted to assert himself, the legend's silence created a striking contrast that only amplified the criticism directed at him. People started to question not just his timing, but his judgment, wondering if he had truly thought through the consequences of his actions. Social media didn't wait for official responses. Clips of Jim Jones' comments went viral within hours, with reactions ranging from memes mocking his audacity to serious criticism about disrespecting hip-hop icons. Fans created countdown threads of his mistakes, highlighting moments where he had overstepped. Comment sections erupted with debates over whether he was trying to generate attention or genuinely express his opinions. Every attempt to defend his stance seemed to backfire, fueling further ridicule and casting doubt on his credibility. It became clear that this controversy wasn't going away anytime soon. It had legs, and the public was determined to hold him accountable as the backlash intensified. Jim Jones' social media activity increased. He posted explanations, clarifications, and even subtle jabs in response to criticism. But these only served to escalate the situation. Fans dissected every post, interpreting hidden meanings and reading between the lines. His attempts to control the narrative failed to resonate, and instead of calming the storm, they added fuel to it. Every reply, every video, every post became another chapter in a saga that seemed to grow by the hour. His credibility was being questioned, and his reputation, carefully built over decades, was now at risk of being overshadowed by a single, miscalculated move. The situation became even more complicated as influencers and commentators joined the conversation. Analysts on YouTube, Twitter, personalities, and podcast hosts dissected every word, providing their own perspectives and spreading the story to even larger audiences. Clips were remixed, opinions were debated, and the controversy became a trending topic across multiple platforms. Jim Jones, who had expected to dominate the conversation, now found himself on the defensive. The lesson was clear. In hip-hop, respect is non-negotiable, and challenging legends carries risks that cannot be underestimated. Despite the public humiliation, Jim Jones tried to maintain his composure. He appeared in live streams, addressing some of the criticism while attempting to justify his original statements. Yet, every appearance was met with mixed reactions. Some fans appreciated his honesty, while others criticized him for arrogance and a lack of foresight. The contrast between his intentions and the public perception became the focal point of the conversation. What he had meant as bold and fearless came across as reckless and disrespectful. His attempt to assert dominance inadvertently reinforced the backlash, showing how quickly public opinion can turn in the world of celebrity culture. By the end of Part 1, stage was set for further fallout. Jim Jones had ignited a firestorm, one that showed no signs of slowing down. Fans were watching closely, dissecting every move. And the conversation around his actions had become a social media spectacle. The initial call-out, intended to make a statement, had instead resulted in public humiliation, intense criticism, and a dramatic shift in perception. The next chapter would determine whether he could recover, whether Nas and Pusha T would respond, and how fans would continue to shape the narrative. The tension remained high as the story moved forward, with anticipation building for every reaction, every statement, and every viral clip. The hip-hop community and fans alike were now waiting for the next move. Curious to see whether Jim Jones could navigate the fallout or if this controversy would continue to define him in the public eye. The drama was far from over, and Part 2 would reveal how the backlash escalated and the ways it reshaped the perception of one of hip-hop's most recognizable figures. The backlash against Jim Jones continued to escalate, and by now it was clear that fans were not holding back. Social media threads were filled with critiques, memes, and reactions dissecting every word of his statements. Many fans expressed disbelief that he would challenge legends like Nas and Pusha T publicly, calling it disrespectful and a miscalculation. "Some things are untouchable in hip-hop," one fan wrote. "You can't just call out legends and expect no consequences." The situation had shifted from curiosity to judgment, and Jim Jones found himself in uncharted territory. Meanwhile, online commentators and YouTubers began analyzing his every move. Reaction videos exploded, some praising his bravery while the majority criticized his timing and tone. Influencers debated whether this was a genuine call-out or a publicity stunt. But the consensus leaned heavily toward the idea that he had overstepped. Every attempt to clarify his intentions was met with skepticism. Fans were questioning not just his strategy, but his judgment. With hashtags criticizing him trending across multiple platforms, the rapid spread of information and opinions left Jim Jones scrambling to regain control, even within the hip-hop community. Reactions were mixed. Some artists sympathized with him, acknowledging the courage it takes to speak out in an industry that can be unforgiving. Jim Jones' initial confidence began to erode under the combined weight of fan outrage, public scrutiny, and peer commentary. Mere days after the initial call-out, the conversation had expanded far beyond Jim Jones. Fans were analyzing his past collaborations, career milestones, and previous controversies, questioning whether his recent behavior fit the persona they had long respected. Viral threads drew attention to moments where he had previously been seen as measured and strategic, creating an even sharper contrast with his current behavior. The public perception was shifting fast, and every post, tweet, and comment seemed to deepen the narrative of a misstep that could haunt him for weeks, if not months. In response to mounting criticism, Jim Jones attempted to engage with his audience. He released a series of posts explaining his perspective, asserting that his comments were meant to spark conversation and express honest opinions rather than attack anyone personally. Despite these clarifications, fans dissected every word, interpreting tone and intent in ways that often contradicted his explanations. Attempts to control the narrative backfired, demonstrating just how precarious public perception can be in the age of social media. The more he tried to explain, the more scrutiny he faced. The pressure intensified as memes, reaction videos, and commentary pieces multiplied online. Clips of his statements were remixed and spread with added commentary, often amplifying the sense of humiliation. Fans began comparing the situation to other public controversies in hip-hop, arguing that challenging legends without sufficient backing often leads to backlash. The comparisons were unflattering, and Jim Jones' actions were scrutinized in light of the history and legacy of Nas and Pusha T. Every new post or statement he made sparked renewed debate, reinforcing the idea that the public would not forget or forgive easily. Meanwhile, Pusha T and Nas remained largely silent, maintaining a strategic distance from the controversy. Their silence only intensified the public's fascination as fans debated what it meant. Was their lack of response a sign of confidence, a calculated move, or simply disinterest? The contrast between the legend's calm composure and Jim Jones' increasingly defensive position amplified the perception that he had misjudged the situation. Social media users highlighted the wisdom in restraint, applauding Nas and Pusha T for not engaging in a back and forth that could have escalated further. As the narrative unfolded, Jim Jones began to realize the scope of the consequences. The initial call-out, intended to assert his perspective, had instead led to widespread public ridicule and criticism. online polls and comment sections painted a clear picture. Fans were not impressed, and many felt he had tarnished his own reputation. His credibility, previously solid in the eyes of many, was now being questioned. The incident became a cautionary tale about the dangers of challenging legends. Without fully considering the cultural weight of their legacy, despite the growing pressure, Jim Jones attempted to regain control. He reached out to friends, allies, and even some media outlets to clarify his intentions and present his side of the story. Interviews were conducted, statements were issued, and efforts were made to redirect the narrative. However, the viral nature of social media made these attempts difficult to manage. Every response, every clarification, and every public appearance was scrutinized, often with more intensity than the original comments. The lesson was clear. Once a controversy reaches a critical mass online, controlling the story becomes nearly impossible in parallel. Fans and commentators began creating timelines and detailed breakdowns of events. Posts compared his words to previous interviews, his career trajectory, and public perceptions of respect in hip-hop. Each analysis reinforced the notion that his call-out had been miscalculated. The scrutiny was relentless, leaving Jim Jones under immense pressure to respond appropriately while navigating the growing wave of criticism. It was no longer just about defending himself, it was about protecting his legacy and preventing further damage. By the end of Part 2, the tension was palpable. Jim Jones' situation had become a social media spectacle, with fans, peers, and commentators all weighing in. The backlash continued to grow, while the silence of Nas and Pusha T added an additional layer of pressure and anticipation. It was clear that the next chapter would either offer a path to redemption or cement the public's perception of a significant misstep. Fans were eagerly awaiting what would happen next, knowing that the final moments of this story could either restore credibility or confirm humiliation. The stage was set for Part 3, the resolution, the ultimate reactions, and the consequences of Jim Jones' decision to publicly challenge two of hip-hop's most respected figures. Every move mattered, and the world was watching closely. The question now was whether Jim Jones could navigate the fallout and reclaim his reputation, or if the backlash would define him in the eyes of fans and peers for years to come. The tension reached its peak as Jim Jones realized the full weight of the backlash. Fans weren't just criticizing him, they were dissecting every word, replaying every clip, and using his own statements to create viral content that painted him in a negative light. Every post he made seemed to fan the flames instead of dousing them. The initial confidence he felt when calling out Nas and Pusha T had evaporated, replaced by the harsh reality that the public and the hip-hop community were holding him accountable, and without mercy. Social media had become a relentless judge, jury, and executioner. Memes mocking his audacity spread like wildfire. Reaction videos dissecting his every move went viral, and hashtags questioning his credibility trended across multiple platforms. Fans who once supported him began turning on him, openly discussing how they had lost respect for his judgment. "He's biting off more than he can chew," one fan tweeted, calling out legends without thinking. Rookie mistake. The pressure mounted as Jim Jones' attempts at explanation only highlighted the miscalculation, showing a disconnect between his intentions and public perception. Even beyond the online sphere, fellow artists and commentators weighed in. Some used the situation as a cautionary tale about the importance of respect in hip-hop, while others criticized him for attempting to provoke drama without considering the consequences. Every reaction served as a mirror reflecting just how severely he had misjudged the scenario. The contrast between his bravado and the measured silence of Nas and Pusha T made the humiliation even sharper. It was clear to the public that the legend's calm, composed stance only highlighted Jim Jones' misstep, despite the mounting pressure. Jim Jones attempted to address the controversy directly. He participated in interviews, social media posts, and even live streams, trying to clarify his intentions. He claimed that his comments were meant to spark discussion and weren't personal attacks. However, every explanation seemed to fall short. with fans quickly pointing out contradictions or dismissing them as damage control. The more he tried to regain control, the more public perception seemed to slip through his fingers. Fans debated whether he had intentionally sought attention or had simply miscalculated the cultural weight of calling out two of hip-hop's most respected figures. Meanwhile, the silence from Nas and Pusha T continued to resonate. Their decision not to respond publicly only amplified the scrutiny on Jim Jones. Fans speculated endlessly about the implications of their silence, with many praising the legends for demonstrating restraint and wisdom. Social media users highlighted this as a lesson in the importance of timing, respect, and understanding one's position within the hip-hop hierarchy. Jim Jones, who had initially thought the call-out would elevate his profile, was instead learning a hard lesson about reputation and humility in front of the world. The pressure intensified further as news outlets, entertainment blogs, and podcasts began covering the story extensively. Analysts broke down the timeline of events, comparing his comments to previous controversies in the industry. His social media posts were highlighted as examples of how not to handle public backlash. Fans shared these analyses widely, reinforcing the perception that he had mishandled the situation. As Part 3 unfolds, the ultimate reactions from the public and peers become evident. Fans continue to express disappointment, frustration, and disbelief over his approach. Memes persisted, reaction videos piled up, and commentary threads expanded, solidifying the narrative that Jim Jones had miscalculated massively. Fellow artists continued to weigh in, offering either subtle warnings or blunt criticism, and the contrast between him and Nas and Pusha T remained stark. It became increasingly clear that the incident would have long-term implications for his reputation, potentially overshadowing previous accomplishments. In addition to fan reactions, the situation began to affect the industry's perception of him. Labels, collaborators, and promoters took note of the backlash, recognizing that public perception could influence opportunities, partnerships, and credibility. This was no longer just an online feud. It had entered the professional sphere, demonstrating how public missteps can ripple far beyond social media. Jim Jones had sparked a controversy that was now influencing opinions on multiple levels, both personal and professional, forcing him to confront consequences he may not have fully anticipated. Despite the mounting challenges, Jim Jones attempted to regain a sense of agency. He released further statements emphasizing respect for Nas and Pusha T, clarifying that his comments were not meant to undermine their legacies. Fans and commentators dissected these statements as well, debating whether they were genuine or merely attempts at damage control. The ongoing dialogue highlighted the complexities of navigating public controversies in an era where every word is scrutinized, every post is permanent, and every reaction is amplified across multiple platforms. By the conclusion of Part 3, the story reaches its dramatic peak. Jim Jones' attempt to assert dominance over two of hip-hop's most respected figures backfired, resulting in public humiliation, fan backlash, and scrutiny from both peers and media. Nas and Pusha T's silence, strategic restraint, and long-standing credibility further emphasized the consequences of miscalculated boldness. Fans witnessed an intense narrative of misjudgment, ego, and lessons in respect, all unfolding in real time, with consequences that extended far beyond the initial comments. Ultimately, this saga leaves a lasting impression. Jim Jones' reputation was challenged, and the incident serves as a cautionary tale for anyone attempting to confront legends without fully understanding the cultural weight of their actions. Fans, commentators, and the hip-hop community alike reflected on the importance of respect, timing, and awareness in maintaining credibility. What began as a bold move ended in a lesson on humility, perception, and the power of public opinion in shaping a celebrity's legacy. As the dust settled, Jim Jones faced the task of rebuilding his reputation, navigating fan perceptions, and reestablishing trust within the hip-hop community. The controversy, though painful, became a turning point, a reminder that in an industry defined by respect and legacy, Boldness must be balanced with wisdom, and that public missteps can have consequences that echo far beyond a single viral moment. Fans continue to debate, reflect, and react, making it clear that this story will remain part of hip-hop discourse for months to come. If you were shocked by how quickly things escalated for Jim Jones, you're not alone. Fans turned on him almost immediately after he called out Nas and Pusha T, and the fallout has been relentless. Now it's your turn to weigh in. Do you think Jim Jones went too far, or was he just speaking his mind? Could he recover from this, or has the damage to his reputation already been done? Share your thoughts in the comments below. We want to hear every opinion. Make sure you hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications so you don't miss any of the latest updates in hip-hop drama. We cover every reaction, every viral clip, every shocking moment in celebrity and music news, giving you the inside scoop on everything happening in the world of hip-hop. By subscribing, you'll stay ahead of the conversation and never miss a moment of the controversy as it unfolds. Don't forget to like this video. If you were surprised by how intense the backlash became, sharing this video with your friends will make sure everyone sees how quickly a single comment can escalate into a full-blown social media storm. We've got more breaking stories, reactions, and updates coming soon. So stay tuned. The drama isn't over, and you'll want to be the first to know what happens next. Comment, subscribe, and hit the notification bell, because when hip-hop legends are involved, every moment counts, and you'll want all the details right as they happen.